Hi friends. So today we're going to continue to work with shapes. Today our focus is the cube, the shape called cube. So I'm going to just go ahead and dive right in. All right, so for today's solve and share, make sure that you work this out on your own before you watch the rest of this. So if you want to take a quick pause and solve it yourself, that'd be awesome. So you're going to describe the two shapes in 4 or more ways. Tell how they are different and how they are the same. Use a tool to include measurements in your description. Well, let's start with the easy one because we already know what this is. This is called a square. Oops. And this has 4 sides. Four sides, it's flat. Or the other word for that is 2D. It has 4 angles. And then 4 vertices. So I'm going to put 4V for vertices. Because I don't have space, I'm just going to go ahead and say what's the difference with this. One thing about this that's different from the square is, for one, it has a different name. It's a cube. And the cube has more than, the cube does not have sides, it has faces. And we're going to learn what that means, what faces means. This shape is also 3D, which means it's not flat, it's 3D. And it has more than 4 angles, but we're going to learn about how in a 3D shape they have different types of names. They don't use the words vertices, they don't use the word sides, they don't use the word angles. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that, okay? So that's really it for the solve share. It's rather short. Shapes are pretty easy, so let's go ahead and move on to the visual learning. All right, so we're going to find out, how is a solid figure, how is a solid figure different from a plane shape? Well, we kind of talked about it. A plane shape is 2D, and a solid like this is 3D.
A figure has many faces. It is 3-dimensional, not flat. A cube is a solid figure with 6 equal faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices.
So when we talk about 3D shapes, we talk about the faces. The faces is basically the sides of the shape, right? And then these little lines here, we call these the edge, right? And in the corners, we call these the vertex. Okay, so it's kind of like vertices, but it's the vertex. Edge, face. Vertex, edge, face.
Is a square with 4 equal edges and 4 right angles. Which shape is not a cube?
Well, I know a cube is made up of squares. It's made up of squares only, right? That's what a cube is made up of. And which of these shapes have more than just a square? I think this one, because there's a rectangle in this, and we know that a cube is only made up of squares.
These are not cubes. The green shape not a cube? Why is the yellow shape not a cube?
Well, we know that this one is not a cube because it's made up of not only squares, but also rectangles. And cubes only have faces that are shaped like squares. And this is a 2D shape, that's just a square. So there's no way that's a cube.
The faces are not all the same size. The yellow shape is not a solid figure or 3-dimensional shape. It is a plane shape or 2-dimensional. to draw a cube. Dashed lines show the edges that you can't see when you look at a solid cube. Does the dot paper help you draw a cube? Dot paper helps you to draw straight lines.
So I wish I could give you guys the opportunity to try it out, but unfortunately we don't have that opportunity. But the great thing about this dot paper is it allows you to draw a 3D shape while still seeing the parts of the 3D shape we don't see. Like they said this, when you actually look at it in person, you cannot see this part of a 3D shape.
To draw lines in the right direction. How many edges do you draw in all? You draw 12 edges.
Now, how do we know there's 12 edges? Well, because we know the edges, these are the edges, and the corners are the vertex, right? The lines are the edges. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It kind of helps if you mark it while you're counting so you can keep track of all your edges.
Cubes and describe how they look.
Okay. I wish I had dot paper so I can draw it for you guys. But I'm going to show you guys another way to draw a cube. That way you can practice it. So before we, first of all, let's go over this. Which one of these is a cube? Okay. Is this a cube? This one? Yes, it is, because it has, their faces are made up of only squares. All of their faces are equal squares, right? So that's how we know that this, in fact, is a cube. Is this one? No. Because, yes, there are square faces, but there's also a hexagon face. So we know that's not a cube. This is not a cube because, for one, yes, it does have a square face, but it also has a rectangle face. So there's no way. This one, no. Because it has two faces, one down here, one up here, of a circle, and it's nowhere near a square. This one is actually called, I believe it's a pyramid, and this has one face, which is a square, but we know that it is not a cube because the other faces right here on the side, these are also counted as faces, they have triangle faces, so no. And this one is kind of the same thing, just the bottom, it's a triangle face, so no. This one has faces shaped like a square, but it also has the pentagon face, so no way. And last but not least, this one has triangle faces, so I already know that's a no. So just the main thing you need to remember with cubes, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 edges. Remember, these are the edges. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vertexes, which is where your edges connect. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces, right? And all of their faces are squares. So let's practice drawing it. So this is a way to do it because we don't have dot paper. When I was in college, this is how they taught us, and I think it's pretty awesome. So you start off with your square, and I'm sorry, my square looks horrible. Then you're gonna draw another square. Go back. Let me redo that because that just was not pretty. How do I view? Why is this not cooperating with me? Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna draw one square. Oh, you know what, guys? I found an even easier way. I'm gonna insert a square. Okay, so you're gonna draw a square, and I'm gonna do it like this so that you can actually see it more clearly. If there is a square as an option, that would be wonderful. Basic shapes. Looks like I'm gonna have to draw it. Oh well, I'm gonna have to draw it. So I apologize if My drawings are horrible. So you're gonna draw your square, and then you're gonna draw another square really close that kind of overlaps. Ugh, that looks horrible. So you're gonna come here and kind of do like a right angle like that. And it basically, you're drawing a square and it overlaps that other one. And then you're gonna connect dot line to line. So this one connects to this one. That looks horrible. This one connects to this one. This one connects to this one, and this one connects to this one. And that looks horrible, but you guys understand, so let me try it again. So you draw your square. Then you're gonna draw another square on top of that square. This time I made it a little closer because that one to me kind of looks like it has a rectangle, and I don't want that. So then I'm gonna connect my corners. That's better, so ignore that one. And that's how you kind of draw a cube. So let me say that again. You draw your square, and then you draw another square like really on top of the other square, kind of like so. Then you connect line dot vertex to vertex, and that's how you draw a cube. So this one's good and this one's good. Okay, ignore that one. Got to give you a bad example too, right? So that's how you kind of draw without dot paper. I wish you guys had dot paper, and I wish I had some so I can actually show you how to use it with the dot paper, but that's kind of how you freehand it. And then I have an anchor chart. So these are some 3D shapes that I kind of wanted to introduce you guys real quick. So remember, this is the cube. We already talked about it. This is the face, right? Right here is the face. I'm going to put F for face. So we call it faces. It has 6 faces, 8 vertices. So right here, the corners, right? Vertices. And 12 edges, and these are the edges, right? It's what connects the vertices. The vertices connect the edges. So it has 12 edges, 8 vertices, and 6 faces. And this is a sphere. A sphere is kind of like a ball shape. A cone, think of an ice cream cone. A cylinder, kind of think of like your roll of toilet paper. A pyramid, and a rectangular prism. We're not going to dive too deep in today. Our focus was the cube. So of course, just remember the cube has 6 faces, 8 vertices, which is the corners, and 12 edges, which are these lines that is connected by the vertice. All right, and that's it for today. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to send me a message on Class Dojo.